As part of its plan to improve the rural economy, the government wants more starter homes in villages, but building on green fields is often controversial. Here in Wrea Green, a plan to build almost 50 homes has just been approved by the local council, despite strong opposition from the village.
We're just being overwhelmed with houses in our village, and it's soul destroying. They're building all the wrong houses in the wrong places. We need bungalows for our elderly. We need starter homes for our children. All our children have had to leave the village to buy homes, and it's devastating. All they want to build is 4 and 5 bedroom executive homes, which we don't need. And I'm sure that's not what the government meant when they're asking us to build more houses.
My recommendation to the committee is that the application be supported.
The developer insists the houses are suitable for the village and will help boost the number of affordable properties in the area.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
But the chairman of the committee that approved the plans says local councillors are often left with little choice.
The constant threat and the stick above us is that if you don't deliver, if you took not in my backyard arguments, that if we can summarise it as that, if we don't deliver, it's been made very clear to us that the government would deliver them for us. So you can understand the anger. It's passed off by some of the ministers as simply NIMBYism, but in terms it is an enormous change in the way we approach planning.
There remains a huge demand for housing in cities, in towns and in villages, and the government's determined to supply them, saying that 275,000 extra affordable homes will be built over the next 5 years at the fastest rate for 2 decades. The challenge then is to build the right houses in the right places for the right people.
Well, Jackie Copley is with me from the Campaign for the Protection of Rural England. It's a huge challenge. We know if it was easy, it would have been done already. These houses need to be built. How can we stand in their way?
Yeah, well, we agree new houses do need to be brought forward, but I think the way that they are currently being planned for is of concern to people, because the wrong type of houses are coming forward in the wrong locations without the adequate infrastructure. What we would say is you need a local plan in place to guide where houses ought to go, and we ought to be building houses for those people who will be living here in the next 20 to 25 years. And in Fylde, in Wrea Green, it's likely to be older households and new starts. So, you know, we would want to see new cottages coming forward, we want to see bungalows coming forward, not the kind of executive large family housing that's being built at the edges and to a loss of a huge amount of farmland. And it's not just any old farmland, it's high-grade farmland too.
But the previous system obviously wasn't working because we know we're lagging so far behind.
Well, that was in a period of economic downturn. People weren't, actually, because of the banking crisis, people couldn't get the finance to build houses. So it's not a planning issue. That was an economics, you know, the lack of funding coming forward to build houses. And actually, there was a migration of people to urban areas, and CPRE isn't about stopping houses being built. We do have a policy of urban concentration. We'd like to see vacant sites in existing settlements in Preston down the road to be developed in advance of farmland being lost.
Because this is obviously an established village. We can tell from the houses that are surrounding the lovely green here. In Fylde, this area, as you know very well, they need to build 8,000 houses before 2031. But it's an area that is all villages, all small settlements. You're not going to be able to please all of the people all of the time.
Yeah, I mean, one thing about housing numbers, since the introduction of the National Planning Policy Framework, we've seen decisions varying across the piece, and it's causing local authorities not to have the confidence to build at the suggested levels from their evidence bases. They're going beyond that. So we're seeing, I think Nathaniel Litchfield and Partners did a study showing that local authorities are planning for a third extra just to get their local plans through the examination process, and there's something wrong there.
All right, Jackie Copley, thank you very much indeed. Obviously a tough nut to crack. Thanks a lot. We'll be back on the red sofa on Wrea Green in just a few minutes' time to talk more about broadband, another very live issue for people living in the British countryside.